Let's go.
Wednesday afternoon.
Original team, like the loss of Walker, Rodri is still out. They don't seem, Pep doesn't seem certain about what is his best makeup, players. I mean, he's not played Grealish much this season. I think he apologised to him, didn't he? Pep apologised to Grealish.
Yeah.
So it just seems he is a bit uncertain as to his best team and what's happening at the moment, which is, not surprising if he's got his own domestic issues. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I really hope they do beat Madrid. It'll be really interesting to see. They could do. It happens, doesn't it? When a team is lost at home, they go away and they seem to find something better, something new. So it's not lost at this stage. It really isn't.
I mean, Madrid on the La Liga league, they're down to second position now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so they're not in great form themselves, are they?
No.
They're not really in the form that we know Madrid to be. But then that's Madrid. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what he goes and does at Madrid. I mean, how many goals is he looking for at Madrid? How many goals do you think they'll be looking for?
They really basically need to win by 2 goals, don't they? To overturn if they win 2-0, then Pep will have won the 2 matches effectively.
Yeah.
But it's not beyond them. It really isn't, because they've still got a lot of quality players. But they're also they're blooding 1 or 2, sometimes 3 new young players who all generally look very, very good. They would to be selected or chosen by Man City, but they're still blooding youngsters, and that can disrupt the momentum that they've had for a long time now. As we've said before, momentum is an interesting thing. I mean, as is confidence, which we've talked about. Man City this season would have gone into this season, presumably, very confident with the momentum of 4 consecutive Premier League championships, which is incredible and not done ever before, or not for many, many years. And I think most pundits and the most of us would have said, they'll probably get a 5th, because not much had changed in the team.
No.
Albeit the injuries have happened. But I think the season they've had, with a great number of defeats, even though they're still pretty much up in the top 4 or 5, we would never have expected or predicted. So that's the great thing about football. It's not predictable. Even Madrid, as you say, somehow don't look like the Real Madrid we've seen in years gone by. But they too are subject to the same swings and roundabouts, but they generally have still maintained their superiority over most others. But that's the great thing about football. I mean, Chelsea, you mentioned Chelsea. I think early this season they were thought to be genuine Premier League title contenders. But they seem to have. I mean, they have had injuries, but then most teams have injuries. I think they've lost, for the time being, Nicholas Jackson up front. That won't help them. But there's still most of the rest of the team there, and it just doesn't seem like the Chelsea we saw in the early months of the season. So I'm not quite sure. Is it the manager? Is a rhetorical question. Is it the manager? Is he not having the impact or the effect he wants? Is it to do with the owners? Because, the 2 owners, the rich billionaire Americans, are known to be hire and fire pretty quick. I mean, they sacked Potter in 6 or 7 months, when they basically hired him on the basis he will be given time, as he did at Brighton. He built them up from a pretty poor team to a pretty good team. He still wasn't getting them firing up front too well, but he was getting there. I think Graham Potter is someone who needs time. Look at his results at the moment for West Ham. I think they've won 1 out of 5 or 6 games.
Soft family and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday. So join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom.
Getting there. I think Graham Potter is someone who needs time. Look at his results at the moment for West Ham. I think they've won 1 out of 5 or 6 games. which is not a great start. But I think he's a good manager, and I think he will get that team functioning as he wants, and he'll be successful. He produces good footballing sides. But if the owners of West Ham do what Chelsea did and get impatient, they may fire him after 6 months if they're not, contending for everything. And I think this is where some football owners go wrong. They've got to give managers a decent crack of the whip. Otherwise, they're going to be forever. I mean, even Man United, you could actually argue, since Ferguson retired in 2013, they've had a succession of managers there for 1 or 2 seasons. I don't know how many it is, but we could probably name 7 or 8 or 9 quite easily. So that would imply they're never there for more than a couple of years. Maybe they should have kept Jose Mourinho, Jose as we call him, because he did win. He won at least 1 trophy there, didn't he? But he was fired, and yet I still think he's one of the world's top football managers, as he proved at Chelsea years ago. But yeah, it seems to be the name of the game. If you don't it's always been a bit like that. You need quick success, but I think there's a realisation now, certainly in the Premier League, you've got to give a new manager time to show what he can do. Otherwise, you're going to be a perpetual situation of firing and hiring new managers,
which is not healthy for the game. So just talking about managers now, this is something that I've always suspected about Amorim. Not just Amorim. This is what I've always suspected about teams, or I mean not teams, but managers or players coming from abroad, highly rated, and then coming into England and then flopping. Right? And I've always suspected that because the level of the Premier League is really, really high. And I know we're not winning Champions League or whatever, but it's still high at home. It's the battle is at home. And Amorim, during a press conference, he says, I have a lot of problems. My job is so hard here. And he's talking about England. And I thought, that's it. And I thought, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You come to England, I don't care where you've been doing well, but you come to England, you have to do 10 times better. Or you have to put in 10 times the effort, 10 times what you know.
Safemo and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday. So join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom.